Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to knit waffle stitch. As you can see, waffle stitch has an interesting grid pattern with raised vertical lines and bands of stockinette stitch and reverse stockinette stitch. It's only a 4-row pattern repeat and it's easy to knit because it only involves knit stitches and purl stitches. Right, so the first step is to cast on a multiple of 3 stitches plus 1. I personally cast on 16 stitches using the long tail cast on, but you could use your favourite method. Then for row 1, which represents the right side or the front of the knitting, you need to begin by knitting 1 stitch. Then you need to bring the working yarn between the needles to the front and purl 2 stitches. Then take the working yarn between the needles to the back again and knit 1 stitch. Then simply repeat purl 2, knit 1 until the end of the row. So that's purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, knit 1 and so on. Always remember that the working yarn needs to be at the back behind the needles for a knit stitch and at the front towards you for a purl stitch. If we now take a look at the stitches, you can see that some of them have a little bump of yarn and these are called purl bumps. All the stitches with purl bumps are purl stitches and those without are knit stitches. What we're going to do on row 2 is knit the knits and purl the purls. So every time you see a purl bump, you're going to purl that stitch. Therefore, row 2 begins with 1 purl stitch. So make sure the working yarn is at the front and purl 1 stitch. Then take the working yarn between the needles to the back and knit 2 stitches. Then bring the working yarn between the needles to the front again and purl a stitch. Then just repeat knit 2, purl 1 over and over until the end of the row. So that's knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, purl 1 and so on. And here is what your knitting should look like so far. Then row 3 is a knit row, so that's just knit stitches all the way across. And then finally row 4 is a purl row, so that's just purl stitches all the way across. And that's it, that's the 4-row pattern repeats completed. And here you can see what this pattern should look like after you've knitted the repeat a few times. As you can see, you get that nice grid pattern with the raised vertical lines. And on the back it's very similar except those vertical lines are sunken into the knitting. And just as a side note, if you want to knit waffle stitch in the round, then you would need to follow this pattern instead. And that's it, that's how you knit the waffle stitch. I really hope this has been helpful and thank you very much for watching.